go, Brandon.
Hey guys, I wanted to put out this really quick video on a couple of shootings that have happened over probably the last 12 hours. And this is being used to politicize shootings, mass shootings, school shootings, whatever you want to call them. Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Philadelphia. They're using this category of mass shooters that include 4 or more people who were shot or killed to pump up their rhetoric for the anti-gun movement and the anti-gun bills that are attempted to try to get pushed through right now. What I mean by that is, it's like a video that I've already talked about before, where if you try to take drunk drivers and distracted driving drivers and lump them in the same category to make the argument for drunk drivers, you're skewing the statistics. You're falsifying the data to try to make your case, and you're lying is what you're doing. What I mean by that is, if we took every single distracted driving death and put them into the same numbers as drunk driving deaths for the sole purpose of passing new legislation on drunk driving, we're being deceptive. We're lying. By that same concept, if we try to take every single gang shooting, suicide, or anything else just because a gun was involved and try to lump them into a mass shooting category to try to get legislation passed because of school shootings, which is the big hot topic right now, the thing that people are really emotional about, then we're being deceptive and we're lying about that. That's exactly what they're doing. How often have you heard anyone talk about shootings in inner cities before over the weekend that involve 4 or more people? They don't. Chicago does it every single night, and no one talks about it. But now all of a sudden, we've got Chattanooga, Tennessee, we've got Philadelphia, no telling how many other cities. This is all going to start trickling out. It's because they're trying to use these numbers to pad the numbers of school shootings. They're all safe. You look at these stories, these news stories all reference Uvalde, not necessarily Buffalo, even though some do, but mostly Uvalde, because that's what's in the front of everybody's minds right now and that everybody's emotional over, and everybody's trying to rush into getting some new legislation in because of Uvalde. They cite Uvalde in the same story when they're talking about these other types of shootings. Why is that important? These are likely gang shootings. There are arguments where people get drunk and start shooting at each other. Let me make this really clear. And I'm going to use the Uvalde case specifically. Remember, I wrote a book on this. I know what I'm talking about. Psychologically, these are 2 totally different types of crimes. They might involve a gun, they involve humans, and they involve people being shot. That's where the similarities stop. When you have the Uvalde killer, this guy planned this way in advance. This guy knew what he was going to do. He was calculated. He planned on purchasing these firearms ahead of time. All this is allegedly, of course. Purchasing that ammo ahead of time. All these were things that he put in motion a long time ago. These were planned events. This was something that morning when he woke up, he knew he was going to kill people. These other shootings like Chattanooga and Philadelphia, those people didn't wake up that morning with a plan. They had no plan. They probably were going to go party. That's probably what their plan was, and they were probably going to carry a gun illegally. But that's the extent of the things that they have in common. If we can't determine and separate the reasons why people are doing the various crimes that they're performing, then we can't solve them. You cannot simply pass new gun laws and think that you're going to stop a gang shooting, an argumentative shooting, or a mass shooting all at the same time. We have got to step back, and before that person makes a decision to shoot somebody, we have to figure out why they got to that point. Why did that mind get to the point where they wanted to now acquire a gun? The Uvalde killer, this person didn't buy a gun and then decide to kill people. This person decided to kill people and then bought a gun. Chattanooga, Philadelphia, those guys had guns. They didn't go out that night expecting something to happen. But when it did pop off, they randomly shot people. In most cases, these types of shootings that you're seeing in Chattanooga and Philadelphia, if they're gang related, those people knew who they were shooting at. They knew those people. It was some kind of retaliation, some kind of gang type stuff. Or it was an argument that went south and then somebody got shot. Again, these people were not planned to be shot over days and days and days. It was a squabble, a quarrel, something like that set that in motion. The Uvalde shooter was set in motion months ago. In fact, reports are out that he tried to get his sister to buy an AR-15 for him when he was 17. So at least within the last year, this plan has been in motion for the Uvalde kid. We can't let these people dominate this narrative. That's the problem that we have right now. We've got to separate these things. We've got to recognize that there are different types of things taking place. It doesn't mean that I don't care about any one of them. It doesn't mean that I don't care about gang shootings. It doesn't mean that I don't care about people being shot in an argument. It doesn't mean that I don't care about a school shooting. It means that if we're not serious about separating the root cause of every single one of them, we're not serious about solving this problem at all. All we're focusing on is guns. That makes it 100% a political issue if we're not really looking for the root cause. You hear the term root cause. If we are not trying to find what the real root cause is, all three of those shootings have a different root cause to them. The mass shooting that they call them, the gang shooting, and the argument shooting. Those are all different. They all come from different places in the brain. If we are not trying to seriously figure out why each one of those does what they do, then we're not serious about solving this problem.
Let's go, Brandon.